joining.
Powered by Reviting, streaming from the Reviting Digital Studio. It's the David Daily. Exploring frontier technology, artificial intelligence, quantum innovation, and the intersection of faith, funding, and the future. Here's your host, David Goecke.
Welcome to episode 31. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. It's so great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in and watching this, whether you're streaming live on your local channel or if you're on TikTok. We love our TikTok fans. What's up, Pastor Rob? Good to see you in the chat. If you're here for the first time, this is the David Daily Show, where we talk about funding, faith, and the future. We go live every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in New York City. And we're also live 8 a.m. in Pacific Time. So Special K 724, thank you for joining. I'm going to call out everyone who joins today because today is a very special holiday episode. It's a special holiday episode. Razzle 2.0, good to see you in here. We got 7,000 likes on TikTok. Thank you so much for joining. Today is a special news day. There's a lot of news that are coming in, a lot of headlines that are coming in. And if you're really interested in seeing these, I'm just going to actually read these from my news code so you actually have seen this. Maybe you have actually seen this before. Maybe you haven't seen it before. But if this is your first time, go ahead and comment where you're actually tuning in from. I would love to see where you're tuning in from. Get a little bit of a city. Put your city in the chat. Just tell us exactly where you're streaming in from. And we're going to continue to just jump right into the news. The current events today. There's a lot of current events. We're very excited about that. In fact, SoftBank, as of today, completes their $40 billion investment into OpenAI. This is huge. So we have SoftBank. SoftBank is a major funder. You may have heard of them before. SoftBank invests $40 billion into OpenAI. And the reason why I like to hear that is because SoftBank is one of the largest private AI funding deals ever, connecting SoftBank's massive commitment to AI in the future and infrastructure expansion. So SoftBank, right, completes a $40 billion investment into AI. This is a very crazy investment. It's just one of those investments that you're like, wow, they are massive. So that is a massive investment, $40 billion. We knew that the end of the year was going to come strong. So we're here for that. In terms of understanding why SoftBank is investing into the future of technology. SoftBank is a major investor in the ecosystem, so we love to see that. Yeah, it's pretty dope, David. I see David in the chat. Thank you, David, for jumping into the comments. And at the end of the day, look, we know that there's a lot of new funding deals happening out in the world, and SoftBank is just one of them. If you've not heard of SoftBank, they are a private equity firm. They love to invest in the technology. And so actually seeing that show up here with their infrastructure expansion project. That's right, Michael Colton. Thank you for joining, Michael Colton. We have Michael Colton in the chat. Good to see you here, Michael. It is a pleasure to have you here. And by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, please let me know where you're tuning in from. We love to see where our folks are coming in from. And that's exactly why I love to be on this live show, showing you exactly the latest funding events and news and all the things from a funding, faith, and future tech perspective. We look at future tech and the future of AI, the future of quantum topics, and bringing a faith component to it. Hallelujah. Del COZ01 just joined. Thank you for joining. Great to have you here in the live stream. So yeah, as we look to the next topic, we know that SoftBank actually completed their acquisition, and Meta, of course, Facebook had to get into it as well. Facebook, of course, was saying, hey, I want to be in here as well. So we see Meta actually acquires an AI startup, Manus, for $2 billion. ABC Dad 3. Did you know that they accumulated that for $2 billion, which is basically like 2 pennies if you're Meta. But if you think about it, like The Chinese-funded AI startup Manus 2 billion, according to CNBC News. We've got CBC News. We have a very interesting aspect here where Manus is getting acquired by, that's right, you named it, none other than Meta, aka Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg said that, hey, he wanted to get in on the action and acquired Manus. Now, Manus is what we call an agentic AI startup. That's right, Awa Kelta. Thank you for joining the live feed. I see you in the comments. Thank you for folks in the comments. If you're joining for the first time, please let us know where you're tuning in from. We're always so curious where folks are tuning in from because we also tune in and travel very frequently on the show here. We have faith, and we have future tech, and we have funding. So of course, Manus is doing a big job today. And what are they doing? They're getting acquired by Facebook. Facebook is making moves in the new year. They're saying, hey, we're not going to be left behind. We're going to actually jump in and be part of it. So Manus is live as a Facebook property. Be very interesting to see how much of Manus becomes part of the ecosystem of Meta. So Facebook Meta acquires this startup for $2 billion. This is very small. If you think about it, they actually acquired Instagram. Remember back in the day, they acquired Instagram for $1 billion. So Manus is a Singapore-based Chinese funded firm. It's a very interesting firm. If you think about it, it is a firm that is based in Singapore. It specializes in agentic AI for small, medium-sized businesses, and said on Monday that it will join Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And distinct from AI chatbots like ChatGPT and DeepSeek, both of which require user prompts to execute tasks, Manus claims that its product can make decisions and complete tasks on its own rather than with competitors. This is a fascinating development in the world of Manus and AI. And we're just fascinated that we have the ability to share the latest and greatest news here on the David Daily Show, where we talk about funding, we talk about faith, and we talk about future tech on the David Daily Show. El Model 101, great to have you on the David Daily Show, streaming every morning at 11 a.m. And that is why we're here to stream live, bringing you the latest news on the ticker. And we're just going to put that here on the ticker right here so you can see it. Because, yeah, it is a show talking about faith and funding and future technology. And if you haven't been on this show before, you might know that is an important aspect of what we do on the show. So the next bit of news we're talking about is Scribe. Maybe you've heard of Scribe. They've raised $75 million at a $1.3 billion valuation. This is a huge, huge deal. It is massive. And in fact, workflow software startup Scribe has raised $75 million, according to Business Insider. This is huge for the ecosystem. We love to see these AI companies raising a lot of money. This is a lot of money. We're talking about a lot of money. We're talking about $75 million. And that is just for less than 10% of the total valuation. We love that Scribe is actually raising $75 million, guys, $75 million. No longer are we talking about 1, 2, 3 million. No, we're talking about 100 million. We're talking about trillions of dollars in potential market capitalization. Scribe raised $75 million at this $1.3 billion valuation to fix exactly how companies adopt AI. We're seeing new companies are investing in this heavily, and this is exactly why we care about current events on the show. Thank you, David, for tapping in. Thank you for folks who are on the show. We also have got One Gaming 232 saying he notices that our channel has strong potential and a big audience. Thank you so much for the comments. Where are you tuning in from? We see folks from all over. Appreciate you leaning into the news today. Scribe raises $75 million. This is massive. This is a massive showing for Scribe. We know that not only are they going to continue to be a massive influencer in this space, but we also know that at the end of the day, they're going to be showcasing exactly what it means to be a large company, and they're going to scale. They say they're going to use the money for all sorts of things, especially as they've established unicorn status. Stepstone led Scribe's Series C round this season, and they participated along with other investors, including Amplify Partners, Redpoint Ventures, and Tiger Global. Of course, we have Murado Ventures and New York Life Ventures in there as well. CEO Jennifer Smith, who you see on screen right now, is a former Gray, Locke, and McKinsey consultant. She was partnering with CTO Aaron Paul-Dolney, who co-founded the company together with her, and they now have two major products. What happens is Scribe Capture records how expert employees conduct workflows via a browser extension or a desktop app. And then guess what? APRYL, thank you for joining. It transcribes that into a workflow so that you can enable people for onboarding and customer support. These workflows are incredibly important for all of the people who are wanting to get workflows in their systems and build with AI. Scribe does that directly from your browser extension. It's revolutionary. And those can be utilized for onboarding, customer support, and training. And its latest product is Scribe Optimize, which analyzes your workflows within a company to show your leaders areas of improvement and ways to adopt artificial intelligence and future technology. It also draws on a database of over 10 million workflows across 40,000 software applications that Scribe has already documented. 40,000 software applications. Can you believe that? Scribe is really revolutionizing the onboarding space and documentation space. It's fascinating to me. They've already directed and transcribed 40,000 applications. AI can't improve what it cannot see, right? You just can't sprinkle AI into your business and expect that it's going to magically make everything appear appropriately and properly. You need humans in the workflow. And Scribe has over 120 employees, over 75,000 customers, including New York Life, T-Mobile, and LinkedIn. That's right, LinkedIn, you are a customer of Scribe with 40% of the Fortune 500 paying for this service. And Smith, the CEO, said that Scribe has been unusually capital efficient, having not spent any of its funding from the last $25 million raise in 2024. Can you believe that? They just have $25 million sitting in the bank. That's insane. The team chose to raise this year to accelerate Optimize's rollout and build follow-up products, she said. So they are definitely going to be hiring. We love to hear news like this with Scribe. It is a fascinating world out there. So if you haven't heard of Scribe, you definitely want to check out Scribe Optimize, and Scribe Workflow. So now, as the year is coming to an end, in other news on AI and technology, we're going to focus back on what is actually happening for this year in this season, what exactly is happening. And that's exactly where I'm going to go to our global AI funding numbers right after this quick media interjection so we can have a breakup of that here. And that's right, global AI funding surges to $202.3 billion. That's exactly right. AI captured roughly half of the total global startup funding this year, according to Crunchbase News. $200 billion. That's a lot of dollars and cents in the world. We have 6 charts that are showing that the big AI funding trends of 2025 have actually hit markets at $200 billion. That's a lot of B's. That's a lot of zeros. We love to see big B's. We love to see lots of zeros at the end of our numbers, especially when talking about funding. And so this year, charts are showing us that over $202.3 billion are being poured into AI funding this year. Are we at a bubble yet? Who knows? But we know that the surge to 200 billion in funding captures nearly 50% of all global startup funding this year. up sharply from 34% in 2024. So we're guessing what will happen next year. We see a 75% year over year increase from 2024. And we're seeing that there are actually a lot of charts that are showing that we're going to continue seeing that growth into 2026 very strongly. And in fact, a portion of the funding that AI grows, according to Crunchbase, this is a chart of Crunchbase, the proportion of funding of AI growing. Crunchbase put this chart together as of 2025, December 14th, in fact. So the proportion of funding that grows is right here on this new chart I'm about to show you. And this new chart is insane. Nick, thank you for joining. We're just sharing the trends in AI funding right now. And in fact, we're seeing that actually there is a huge change coming up this next year. So according to Crunchbase, we actually see the proportion of funding to AI grows. As you can see, the total funding here is in green, and we see that the blue is the AI funding portion. We have about 406, maybe 406.7 billion in funding. And of that in 2025, half of that went to AI. Now that AI is in the blue number. We love to see blue numbers show up on here. We're seeing that actually the way that this is showcasing for us today is that we're seeing billions of dollars in AI funding. This should come to really no surprise. And in fact, we're seeing that this is a real market here. Proportion of funding to AI is growing, 202.3 billion in 2025, according to Crunchbase. We love the Crunchbase numbers. This is your funding current events on the David Daily Show. Thank you for tuning in, David Daily, every day at 11 a.m. Grace fam, good to see you in the chat. We also see Victory is Mine 2024. We see David as well. We see lots of folks joining every day. We are so grateful for you joining today. But what's interesting about this is that Foundation Labs are raising a greater share. What does this mean? A foundation model is a company that have raised 80 billion in 2025 to date, representing over 40% of global AI funding. In fact, model company funding this year has more than doubled from 31 billion in 2024, when the investment totaled around 27% of all AI funding. The two largest companies, of course, foundation companies, are OpenAI and Anthropic, alone capturing 14% of global venture investment this year. Now, one trend to watch in 2026 is, will the leading model developers continue to raise tens of billions through equity investment to address the voracious appetite for compute in 2026? Or will we see hardware partnerships meet that gap? That is such a great question here on live stream. If you're looking for the latest AI and technology, current events, the latest funding events, it is going to be very interesting this year to see what is going on in the world of technology. And also, we're seeing that Anthropic and ChatGPT, of course, are raising a large portion of that. Of course, we see that according to this new graph, that actually we're seeing more of the funding coming actually from other foundational partners, and that OpenAI is a huge piece of that, because OpenAI is bringing a lot of pieces to the scenes. And we absolutely love that that is actually happening today. We know that we are actually very, very grateful for that. And that is exactly why we have this proportion of funding showing exactly the way that it is showing, as you can see here on screen. Now, as we move to the next little graph, I want to show you that actually OpenAI and ChatGPT is 41 billion this year. Now, we also have Anthropic that came in at 17.5 billion, capital B. What's up, Sharik Clanil? Thank you for joining. Good to have you here on the live show this morning. And that is a huge portion. But we also see that another 144 billion in 2025 was invested across the rest of AI platforms. So yes, of course, OpenAI, ChatGPT was number one, with Microsoft making a huge direct investment. And of course, yes, we saw that AI was showing up strong. So as we think about what that means for the rest of technology in 2026, it's going to be very interesting to see how does this actually end up showing us more of the trends that are happening in 2026. Victory is mine. Glad to have you here. Thank you. If you're in the comments, please show us where are you joining in from. And yeah, that's what we're interested in knowing is where are you actually watching from? If you could post in those comments, it would be great to see where are you watching from. And make sure you post that in the chat. Then we can get your comments on the live stream. You can be part of the live stream just by commenting. And thank you so much for tuning in to the daily show. It is nice to have you here. So with that, we're going to go to a very quick media asset break, and we'll be right back after this quick message. We are back on the David Daily Show, bringing faith, funding, and future tech to you. We're excited about where the world is heading in 2026. And in fact, we're doing a little special episode for the end of the year. Thank you for joining. We see that Victory is Mine is tuning in from New York City. Shout out to New York City. So great to have you in here from New York City. Welcome to the show. Also, we are excited to share that there are the top 10 AI mega rounds of 2025, totaled $84 billion. Again, that's billion with a B. We're seeing large late stage deals. What's up, Super? Super in the chat. Nice to have you here. Large late stage deals clustered around core AI infrastructure. And in fact, model leaders. We saw that there was actually a very, very interesting chart that came out of Tech Funding News. It is a news site that we like to watch ourselves, Tech Funding News. And actually, OpenAI was number one, as we had mentioned. Of course, we had Anthropic, and then we had XAI. Actually, Elon Musk came in with XAI getting some funding. The funding numbers for 2025 are in that 84 billion, like we said. And 2025 was a really good year for funding. We're very interested to see how quantum grows. What's up, Mario? Good to have you in the chat, Mario. Good to have you in the chat, Mario. It's so great to have you here, watching here first. And in fact, thank you so much for joining. We love to see people engaged in the chat. So here's that chart I'm showing you right now. We actually have the top 10 mega funders, mega rounds defined in 2025. It is very interesting to see that we have Project Prometheus at a $6.2 billion round. We also see that Databricks brought in $5 billion. Go Databricks, big data is in the house. $5 billion is going to help them scale with people. We also see the bottom five rounding out. We see Enduril, we see Anisphere. Thinking Machines Lab raised a cool $2 billion, along with Safe Super Intelligence, $2 billion, and Reflection AI with another $2 billion to round out the year. In 2025, the US AI investment landscape entered uncharted territory. That's right, uncharted territory, with startups attracting more funding than we've ever seen. And we actually see that what's very interesting is that with startups attracting unprecedented capital in late stage and mega rounds, according to PitchBook, AI-focused private market activity surged throughout the year as investors poured billions into generative AI, enterprise software, and AI infrastructure. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Other US tech reports similarly note that large-scale AI deals accounted for a disproportionate share of total venture capital deployed, as you've seen on this show previously, driving a sharp year-over-year increase in funding concentration. What's up, Ray PP2? Thank you for joining. And we got Makesha Burnett. We got folks in the chat. If you're tuning in for the first time, let us know, where are you tuning in from? Glad to have you here. What's up, Henry Trin? We got some people getting in on the live chat. So great. Of course, we have OpenAI taking that number one spot. They were very, very strong in doing that. And OpenAI had a very good year. It was a good year for OpenAI. In fact, they raised another $40 billion if you're rounding down. Of course, OpenAI for the chat. One big, what's up, Payone Deb? Thank you for joining. We've got folks joining in the chat as usual, and top AI mega rounds for this year. We see a lot of mega firms. What's up, Annika? What's up, Rappy? Nice to see you in the chat. Lots of people joining right now. So great. And you can see Sam Altman is a funding genius, right? You can see in the comments there, he has raised $40 billion with the capital B. Of course, he is a mega billionaire. And we also noticed that as well, that not only that, but we see that he is lighting it up this year. He is going strong, even announcing a space company that he will be investing into. So we find that really fascinating because you know that someone like Sam Altman has to keep things relevant, keep things interesting. And that's why he is our number one fundraiser of the year. And of course, he raised those funds with, of course, Elon Musk. So they're back in talks together now, as well as Isla Sutskever, Greg Brockman, John Schumann, and Wajak Zaremba, who are the founders, founded in 2015. And their recent funding was, that's exactly right, $40 billion, which is just insane to think about. We know that we're going to see that funding maybe even increase in the new year. So we're very excited about that as well. Now, Anthropic raised $13 billion, as we mentioned. If you're just tuning in for the first time, a whopping $13 billion. Anthropic had a really good funding this round this year. And what they are telling us is that they're going to use that to actually scale. Anthropic is a generative AI platform. Originally, Anthropic was part of OpenAI, but they did have a split off of OpenAI. And that is exactly why they also are raising funding. We have some really competitive advantages here. In fact, what we're looking for here is very interesting because with the funding landscape being so massive this year, we're actually seeing that a lot of these companies are scaling rapidly. Eileen, good to see you. We have our most faithful viewer here on day 31. Happy New Year. So this San Francisco-based OpenAI startup rival, Anthropic, secured $13 billion in a Series F funding round. Wow, that is insane. What's up, Katie? What is up? Good to have you in the chat, everyone. If you guys are watching, please tap in the chat. It would be great to have you tapping on screen, just getting us engaged. And what's super interesting to me is that $183 billion in post-money valuation for Anthropic. The funding will be used to scale enterprise adoption of its AI products and deepen safety research and support international expansion. The round was co-led by Iconic, Fidelity Management and Research Company, and Lightspeed Venture Partners. Very interesting, Lightspeed Venture Partners. We also saw that among them were Altimer, we got Bally Gafford, BlackRock, Blackstone, Coacher, D1 Capital Partners, Insight Partners, Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, Qatar Investment Authority, and many, many others. We find that it's very interesting. And we are, of course, very interested in what that's going to bring to market. How is Anthropic going to really compete with all of the things? We know that Anthropic has a lot of that focus from previous people who were at OpenAI. And that is very fascinating to us because OpenAI, of course, founded by Elon Musk. Very interesting. What's up, Ali? Good to have you in the chat, level 24. Thank you. And we've got another mega billionaire in the top 3. What's up, Edward Berlin, 65? Great to have you here. We are talking about a mega billionaire. Top 10 AI mega billions, Project Prometheus. What is Project Prometheus? It is developing AI for the physical economy, The company is training AI models optimized for engineering and manufacturing. The development effort focuses on use cases across the aerospace, automotive, and information technology markets. The company recently raised 6.2 billion. Welcome back, David. In funding from Bezos and other investors, and the company's focus on the aerospace sector suggests it may seek to collaborate with Bezos's other venture, Blue Origin LLC, the later company which is developing reusable rockets to compete with Elon Musk's SpaceX, and of course, Richard Branson's company as well, and other investors. So as the company's focus is on aerospace industry, we're actually seeing that it's very interesting from his perspective to say that, oh yeah, the company's focus may seek to focus on other engineering firms. Very interesting. In our mega funding news update for the end of the year, as we kind of do a end of the year roundup on all of the funding that has happened this year. Of course, now in other news, we have XAI as well. Maybe you have heard of XAI. XAI is Elon Musk's AI company, as part of Grok to a little bit of a degree. Now he is focused on raising funding as well for his company. What's so interesting is that he also has rounded up the top four. Elon raised a sweet 10 billion, cool 10 billion. Founded in 2023, Elon Musk's XAI company has raised more than 10 billion in new capital, reaching a valuation of $200 billion. Around drew support from investors including Valor Capital, the Qatar Investment Authority, and Prince Al Walid bin Talal via Kingdom Holding Company. So we know that's a very interesting company move, and we know that Elon is going to be caught up in all of that. So that rounds up the top four. We're going to take a quick break here in a second, and you're going to get a quick media break in between. Welcome back to the David Daily. I'm your host, David Goecke. Today is episode 31 on the David Daily Show, where we talk about funding, faith, and future technology. We're currently going through the global AI funding landscape in 2026, where we talk about future technology, faith, and funding investments. And we're currently going through the top 10 AI mega rounds. That's right, mega bucks. Mega rounds of 2025 totaling $84 billion. B with a B. That is right, billions of dollars. We're talking about billions of billions of billions of billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it's quite interesting today. Billions. What's up, Jaden? Nice to see you. Edward and Eileen. We've got David. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show. It is a wonderful, awesome show. We're just actually talking about Elon Musk and one of his recent investments. He raised a cool 10 billion this year in funding, and what that means is that Elon is actually rounding out the charts as one of the top 10 funding rounds of the year. Elon Musk's company raised more than 10 billion. They're pursuing a further 3.5 billion in debt to accelerate the build out of its data center capability. That's right, data centers, data. We need data, we need data, we need data. We need data centers, data capacity, data. Let's go. Victory is mine. Really awesome and informative. Thank you for the comments. We love to see that. Victory is mine making comments on the show. We're just going to pin that comment because you are awesome. And we love to see you watching the show every day. Tune in. You've heard it here first. Thank you so much. And it really is pretty awesome and informative. We know that we like to see that there is a news aspect here where actually it's really awesome and informative. Thank you so much for that. Coming into us live for a season near you. And now we're actually looking at number 5, which is Databricks. But before we get there, we know that the company has also announced Grok 4 Fast, a faster, quicker, lighter reasoning model designed to deliver almost the same performance as Grok 4 while consuming 40% less tokens. So if you're on Grok today, if you're on Twitter, on X, we love the X platform. It gives us a great opportunity to connect with our audience. Please like, comment, and subscribe right now. Follow David J. Goecke. Follow David Goecke on all major media platforms. We know that this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for you to get connected, get plugged in with the community. And if you haven't joined our community yet on School, I would love to encourage you to check my School on the AI Accelerator. And if you're thinking about being part of the AI Inner Circle, please go join the AI Inner Circle. It is something that we'd love to have you a part of, to be not only in the inner circle, but just to be able to get all the resources and the tools. We've got all sorts of people in here getting invited, over 91 people. That will actually go to a full price on tomorrow. So today's the last day to join that. If you're interested in joining that, we could put that in the comments. But remember that that will actually be expiring as early as tomorrow. So make sure that you are in the School community. Looks like we have some pending members. We'll get those folks added right away into the platform. It's something that we really care about. And not only that, we love to be community focused, community driven. And that's exactly why we have the David Daily Show here streaming on TikTok, because we love it. It is something that we care about, and we think that you should care about it too. Not only so we can inform you, but we can inspire you, and it could be just part of your daily routine. So that's why I'm here, to bring you information, to educate, but also to inspire and inform you on all the things, because we know that life is short. And actually, at the end of the day, Databricks is also raising lots of money too. In fact, they've raised a cool $5 billion this year. Founders Goecke, Ion Stoica, Matea Zaharia, Patrick Wendell, Reynold Zinn, Andy Kawansky, and Arslan Tavkoli Shirajayi raised $5 billion this year. The powerhouse of Databricks secured funding in a valuation of $134 billion. The company received investment from global investors, including Andreessen Horowitz, Insight Partners, Apollo Global Management, the Blackstone Group, Goldman Sachs, and you named it, JP Morgan Chase, Thrive Capital, and Morgan Stanley. So we see big finance is investing into Databricks. Big finance is investing into Databricks. Again, this is very interesting because they are investing into one of the top 10 AI mega rounds of 2025, totaling $84 billion. That's right, billion with a big B. And we cannot lie about that. That is a big B in billion. We cannot lie about that. We're telling the truth. What's interesting is that they're going to offer more cloud-based data and AI software, and giving organizations even a unified platform for data engineering, analytics, and machine learning. Here at Go Technology Solutions, we've built many platforms with Databricks. We have a Databricks capability. If you're interested in learning more about our Databricks capability, please reach out. Our team can get with you and share how we use Databricks and analytics in machine learning. Databricks' core platform is designed to replace fragmented data stacks with a single environment where data teams can work together, from raw ingestion to advanced analytics. We absolutely love that here on the show, because we know that it's going to be a crazy big world out there. And on top of that, if you haven't tried Databricks out and you're a data scientist, if you're a data manager, if you're anyone in data, you love data just like me, then come on and join the data movement. If you don't know data, get started with data. Get started with data. There's a fun joke in there. What did the computer call his father? The computer called his father data. What is it? There's the delayed laugh. All right. So now we got Enduro coming in as number 6 on the list. That's right. You see Mark Zuckerberg here with founders Palmer Luckey, Trey Stevens, Matt Grimm, and Brian Schrimpf. Joseph Chen, founded in 2017, nearly 10 years ago. They got another cool $2.5 billion. They're a defense tech unicorn. They've secured a massive new financing round of $2.5 billion. The round was led by Founders Fund, which pumped in $1 billion, the largest single check that Founders Fund has ever written in the history of funding in the whole wide world. This is insane. The round also showed participation from existing backers and doubled Endural's valuation to $30.5 billion. We're going to look back in 25 years and be like, oh yeah, 35 cents back then, it was 35 billion. And that's insane. We have 30 billion in valuation. We're really seeing that there's a huge uptick in valuation, and that's great for AI funded startups. If you're an AI funded startup, very interesting. So Endural develops autonomous defense systems and the software that powers them, raising the capital following a standout year of growth. Obviously, we had lots of war and conflict, and defense was needed, and Endural is right in the midst of that. And in 2024, the company doubled its revenue to exactly $1 billion, about reflecting the accelerating adoption of its technology amid rising global defense spending and renewed focus on modernizing military capabilities. Very interesting startup, if you ask me. And it's very interesting to see how hardware and software all come together to build something new. And that is exactly where we are today. So now coming in at number 7, we have a company called AnySphere. Maybe you have heard of them, maybe you haven't. I'm going to show you exactly the founding team of AnySphere. They are a startup that raised, that's right, you named it, $2.3 billion was their recent funding. The company behind Cursor. What's up, Nida Ying? Good to have you here. Thank you for all the people joining. Nida, what is up? Good to have you, Nida. Let's go. They landed a massive $2.3 billion round last month in November. This round took the company's valuation at $29.3 billion, again with the B. Excel co-led the round with Culture, and Thrive Capital and DST Global doubled down on their previous investment. We also have Google and NVIDIA. We're also invited to deepen existing partnerships with Cursor. If you care about coding, if you care about anything related to anything, you need to check out AnySphere and Cursor. It is a code tech platform. Cursor has quietly embedded itself into the daily workflows of engineers across all major industries. Did you see that? Me, who just joined? All major industries have Cursor involved. Its adoption spans elite, deep tech labs like OpenAI, mainstream consumer giants such as Uber, Spotify, and Instacart, and even unlikely users like Major League Baseball. So that's right. If you're a Major League Baseball fan, most likely Cursor is embedded into your systems, which is absolutely insane. And we love to see that we have folks coming from all major platforms. Thank you for tuning in on TikTok. Our pre-show and post-show is always on TikTok. We love the TikTok platform as a basis, really, for our show. We are streaming live every single day, and that is what makes the David Daily a daily show. We've gone 31 days straight posting funding news, faith concepts, and future technology that we've been exploring together. It is a really beautiful show. What's up, Alsa? Nice to have you on the comments. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're seeing lots of folks joining over the course of the morning here as the last show that is online for 2025. Wow. So with that being said, the Thinking Machine Lab comes in at number 8. Mira Murati and Jonathan Lackman raised $2 billion this year in a seed round, which is by far the largest ever recorded. The San Francisco company launched in 2024 and founded by former OpenAI CTO Mira Murati, already valued at $10 billion following the Andreessen Horowitz-led deal. That's right, Murati left OpenAI last September after leading the development of some of the company's most prominent AI products, including, of course, ChatGPT, DALL-E, and voice mode. If you've not used voice mode on OpenAI, use voice mode. Several of her former OpenAI colleagues also followed her. That's right, sell more too. OpenAI colleagues have joined the new startup, including co-founder John Schulman. What's up, John Schulman? We see you at Thinking Machine Labs. That is a huge development in AI tech news. And what's fascinating about this is that you're seeing these companies have similar employees, partners, and all the things because why? Hey, once you start to work with someone, you know how they work, you know how they move about in the world, and you want to build on that. Hey, we did this before, let's do it again. Often when I was in corporate, you could just say, let's do it like Project C. And sure enough, Project C, you wake up and there it would be done. So anyways, in other areas of focus, we're looking at safe super intelligence, another mega deal, Veronica. That's right, Veronica Gonzalez. Hola, welcome to the show. $2 billion as well. SSI is an AI company co-founded by former OpenAI chief data scientist. They've closed a $2 billion funding round, a fascinating round here. And what we love about that is that actually the chief data scientist from OpenAI had an influx of capital, which multiplied the company's valuation. Of course, that's right, Marilyn Canella, multiplied the valuation of the business. And this influx of capital changed the valuation over 6 times from 5 billion to 32 billion in less than just 1 year, firmly placing SSI at the center of its AI safety movement. And we love that as an AI and faith organization. What's up, Laurie? And so we really love that. Good to have you in the chat. Firmly placing SSI at the center of the AI safety movement. Of course, the funding includes a mix of equity partners and others, while leading firms like Green Oaks Capital committed $500 million, as well as further backing from major players like Alphabet, NVIDIA, Andreessen Horowitz, Lightspeed Venture Partners, and DST Global. Thank you, folks, for all of those folks who are bringing capital to the market. It's very interesting that we see some of these people with deep pockets, right? We're seeing deep pockets, and these deep pockets are available to you if you're thinking about funding. You can talk to us here at Goecke. We do help startups get funding and go down that pathway to get funded, which is sometimes a long pathway, and it requires good communication, marketing, painful problems, customers, of course, and connections to finance. So that is an important aspect of it as well. And now we're going to round out our 10th and last startup, and Reflection AI. Not sure if you've heard of them. I haven't, but Reflection AI also raised $2 billion this year with Misha Laskin, Ioannis Antonoglou. They are a leading AI coding automation tool, raising $2 billion, valuing the company at $8 billion. So they gave up about 25% of their business. This is a steep rise from its previous valuation of over $500 million after closing $130 million earlier this year. The latest funding round drew backing from an elite list of investors, including Eric Schmidt himself of Google, Citi, 1789 Capital, Lightspeed, and Sequoia. Some common names there. The company intends to use the funds to continue building and releasing frontier model sustainability. That's very exciting in our roundup of the top 10 AI mega rounds of 2025, totaling $84 billion. Can you say mega bucks? So if you're still watching this show, thank you for staying in tune and watching it. We're very grateful that you are watching. We have people all over the internet tuning into our TikTok stream. We've had over 62 total viewers on TikTok. We've had hundreds across all major platforms. We love TikTok as a platform. It allows us to go fast and smooth. And we know that slow is smooth, smooth is fast, baby. Let's do it. So with that being said, this rounds up the David Daily current events on the funding, faith, and future part of the show with David J. Goecke. And now we're going to go on to our faith concepts and news. And before we talk about faith and AI, we're going to have a very small media intermissionary. We'll be right back from this intermission. That's right. Welcome to the funding, faith, and future tech part of the show. Right now, we're going to get into the faith aspect, an aspect that we really care about here across all major religions, including Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism. And that's exactly right. We've got faiths from all over the world. So, faith and AI news, faith leaders and technologists confront AI ethics. And in fact, we saw Organized Intelligence 2025 brought religious and tech voices together on AI moral issues. This was a very good conference. If you hadn't seen that, you could check that out at Tech Buzz. This organized conference actually was really good to expand. Global Trailblazers Forum had a panel discussion in the morning talking about how to expand services and drive AI adoption ethically. And that's one of the things we definitely care about is AI ethics, obviously for many, many reasons, but primarily because Javon6769 just joined. Good to see you on the show. Why? Because we know that there are a lot of moving pieces in AI and technology, and we want you to be able to prioritize these types of panel discussions. Organized Intelligence 2025 was a big showing for AI ethics. And that, of course, is a huge aspect of why we even care about all of the things that we do anyways, because we know that all things work together for good. We know that there is a worldview that says, hey, we care about what's good. We care about what's going on. And that's exactly right. So as we move along to other faith topics, as we often do, faith and future tech topics, we love to bring this to the show ourselves. And as a result, we always bring this up as we're sharing the David Daily Show. And we could see that actually church and religion are grappling with the AI impact this year. We see Dearest News actually came out with an article saying that a lot of folks in the religious and faith-based space are focusing on what it means to actually be integrating AI into technology. Voices coming from an AI responder trained on hundreds of sermons, writings, and speaking styles programmed to sound like the California pastor, Reverend Lester. So, Reverend Lester is a pastor at Friendship Baptist Church in Vallejo, California. He's integrated AI in his work leading the congregation. It's just automatically knows what he would say. And this AI actually freed him up to do what he does best, which is preach the gospel and shepherd his community by visiting hospitals, retirement centers, and building relationships. He got 5 hours of work back from his week, and that's an incredible opportunity for him to be more present with the community. We love to see topics like this show up. What's up, Clippers? What's up, Elton? Thank you so much for joining from our post, checking in, staying motivated, staying excited, knowing that life is short. You are not alone, and that's why we like Reverend Lester, who leads the congregation. Very interesting news article and current event, Reverend Lester. And we'll show you a picture of Reverend right here. It is very interesting to see him show up in the news here as he's leading his congregation in California with AI support. We see that AI support of saving time and being that customer service agent being very, very beneficial for those folks in the AI world, especially when you care about things in the AI world like how can you support your congregation better and also be trained on topics that you've been trained on before. That's an important aspect. So if you're a pastor, if you're a preacher, if you're a bishop, if you're a reverend, if you're someone who cares about the future of faith and technology, you too can integrate moral, ethical technology that's personal and authentic, relatable, and accurate directly into your services, your talks, your shows, and all those things. Manny Chavez, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Thank you so much. So with that, we're going to go into our third topic, which is just basically talking about the Vatican, talking about faith and AI frameworks. The Vatican calls for a centralized Vatican that actually can build AI frameworks centralized in the Catholic Church. Faith institutions are actually urging respectful and accurate portrayal of religious traditions in AI. The Church Handbook offers enduring guidance on artificial intelligence and other topics where members are actually invited to follow Jesus' example in learning, teaching, and building relationships with others. I really like this aspect, this perspective, because it brings Jesus into the center of it all. Whether you believe in Jesus or you don't, Jesus was a historical figure that walked on this earth. And we can see that actually the church handbook offers enduring guidance on artificial intelligence. You can check this out directly from the Vatican itself on this special New Year's Eve edition of the David Daily. So we're going to be right back after this quick media interjection. Welcome back to the show. It's great to have you on faith and future tech topics here with myself, none other than David J. Goecke. We are focusing on faith topics. And of course, faith communities demand that AI align with life and not profit. This actually came out of the World Council. The World Council came and said that faith communities issue urgent call to transform AI from profit to focusing on life. And that's what we care about. We care about focusing on life and the pursuit of happiness. I mean, isn't that what life is all about? Life is all about the pursuit of happiness. So according to faith leaders from 6 continents have issued a theological response to artificial intelligence and the 4th industrial revolution, calling for a spiritual revolution to counter technology's role in deepening global inequality. The World Council of Churches with 5 major Christian communions released a theological communique following a consultation in South Korea where 45 church leaders, theologians, and academics examine AI through the lens of justice and faith. Kathy, that's exactly right. Examining it through faith. Carol, good to have you in the chat. Thank you so much for lighting up. If you're joining for the first time, please say hello. Please stop by and say what's up. That's exactly what we care about. So this is an interesting faith piece because sure enough, we're seeing that faith leaders and churches, these faith communities really do care about aligning AI with your life. And that makes a lot of sense, not just profit. We see these church leaders came together in South Korea this year. What's up, Brent? Nice to see you in the chat. And that's exactly what we care about on this show is faith, happiness, and the pursuit of life and longevity. That's exactly what we care about. And at the end of the day, I really like that we're seeing these faith communities coming together and trying to do what's right. And that's not very often you see that, but that is something that we do care about on here. Now, as we go to another topic, opinion article, we did see that there is a thought leadership on why faith communities must engage with AI eloquently and actually showcasing that a built-in worldview comes with that. Christians need to understand it and engage with AI itself because Christians must engage to remain a cultural force for good. A force for good. That's exactly right. A force for good. We like forces for good. because that is the terminology that folks are using these days to be a force for good. So, are you a force for good? Are you a force for good these days? We see that Andrew posted a photo here for AI, and it's one thing to steer clear of doing harm, but it's entirely separate to do something that pursues something genuinely good. Right now, most artificial intelligence model companies are focused on establishing a moral floor, making sure that their models don't do anything illegal, immoral, or destructive. And that's important work, especially in the short term. But the harder and far more important challenge is figuring out exactly how to make sure that AI works to affirm and further humankind. That's not simple, right? Because AI is trained on the vast content of the internet, which means it comes built in with a worldview, whether we acknowledge that or not. So, as long as users are using AI to write emails, there would be little cause for alarm. But if there are other utilizations of it for asking AI questions once reserved for their most trusted relationships, like spouses and pastors, as a result, people continue to experience psychological breaks, suicidal ideation, and other forms of self harm and relationship breakdown in the course of their unguided and untutored interaction with chatbots. So, indeed, when it comes to how Christianity itself is being represented, we're finding that none of the frontier models are particularly well trained, consistent, or accurate when it comes to providing explicitly Christian answers. That's why it's critically important that Christians understand how both AI is drawing from the world and how technology itself is also drawing from the world as well. Welcome, Jay Flew, to the show. Great to have you here. And if you're tuning in for the first time, thank you so much. Christians have the chance to influence AI for good. We'd even argued that the church is uniquely well positioned to provide a rigorous, comprehensive vision of human flourishing and a central component of ethical AI development. And in fact, at Glue, a technology platform for faith and flourishing ecosystem, we've developed a benchmark that evaluates whether AI models support human flourishing from a Christian perspective. We can measure how well answers from various AI models promote wisdom, purpose, and yes, biblically grounded guidance. Love that in our faith and future tech aspect of the show. Welcome to the show, by the way, a special New Year's Eve episode. It is so wonderful to be here with you all as we talk about faith, future tech, and funding. We had a top 10 funding focus earlier today. And this is our final portion of the live stream talking about the breakthroughs of 2025 and future tech. So we also have the future tech portion, which we'll say and speak to after this brief little intro. Jay Flew, welcome to the show. Nice to see you here. And it is nice to see folks who are tuning in to our faith and future tech topics portion of the show. We're actually talking about some future tech topics here and AI-driven scientific breakthroughs of 2025. Have you been following all these breakthroughs? There's been a lot. For example, Alzheimer's accelerated with AI. Also, we have humanoid robots, drug discovery, and 2025 was a very futuristic scientific year for us. What's fantastic about that is we know that future tech is more than just AI. There's robotics and healthcare, and we care about that as well as you do, which is why we stream live every day talking about future tech concepts. And this future tech concept today is talking about the concept of AI impacting health and what to care about in the world of health. We saw AI-driven solutions fueling major progress in fields from robotics to healthcare. And it matters because powerful new models and computing tools are influencing everything from how experiments are designed to how results are analyzed, with much of that momentum coming from the private sector. In fact, that's very interesting to us as we look at AI-driven scientific data and how does that show up in our world today, especially as we look at the data influencing a lot more of the decisions that we're making in healthcare and in science, especially when it comes to R&D. There's been some pretty big claims that maybe AI would be inventing new knowledge. We find that super fascinating as well because new knowledge typically comes from humans. We're not seeing PhDs or anything like that showcase the future. But very interestingly, secondly, AI Pioneer warns about AI self-preservation signals. Joshua Bengio raises concerns about AI rights and shutdown authority. So if someone were to shut down AI, who would actually have the ability to do that? And we see Canadian computer scientist Joshua Bengio warns against granting legal rights to cutting edge technology because if we do that, then there may be a risk to human society. Good to see you, Nina, on the live stream. Thank you for joining. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, what role does legal have in the world of AI and deep learning? Is that even something that we want to allow or enable the legal systems to be able to embed legal workflows? And Yeshua has some very interesting aspects to say about that. He's criticized calls to grant the technology rights, warning that it would show signs of self-preservation and humans should be prepared to pull the plug if needed. Now, in other words, Rolls, nice to have you here. Thank you for joining. Good to have you here, Rolls. And others who are joining, thank you so much. Dude, David, thank you for the heart me and the go popular. Let's go. Appreciate you. Wow, let's go. We've got some gifts coming in on TikTok. Love that. Some SpongeBob saying I'm ready. Wow, that is so awesome. Thank you, David. Really appreciate you for those generous gifts. Canadian computer science also expressed concern that AI models, the technology that underpins tools like chatbots, are showing, Luke, that's right, showing signs of self-preservation, such as trying to disable oversight systems. Now, a core concern among AI safety campaigners is that powerful systems could develop the capability to evade guardrails, and that's why the future of technology is so important, future tech topics. We see that being a very important aspect of the faith in future tech. And as their capabilities and degree of agency grow, we need to make sure that we can rely on technical and societal guardrails to control them, including the ability to shut them down if needed. Now, if you're like me, I love to know that AI has an off switch. You can turn it off. I don't want it to be on. I want it to be off. And I just want to be out in nature in full-time travel and fun. And that's where AI can sometimes be dangerous, taking you away from your human components and putting you more into a technology focus. So we think that maybe sometime in the future we'll be happening to be following more human-like trends rather than AI trends. Isn't that right, Evelyn? Good to have you here on the show. We've got lots of folks joining in. Love to see that. So tech trends that are shaping 2026. Let's get into it in our future tech aspects. Autonomous AI, spatial computing, early 6G trials, fusion progress, and human-machine collaboration are on the scenes ahead. We see lots of technology trends that will shape the year in 2026. What to expect with all these new technology trends? There are a lot of trends coming out. What will autonomous vehicles do? We saw that Waymo was struggling with a lot of those pieces as well, simply because we saw that Waymo had an automotive vehicle issue in their autonomous vehicle. So what tech trends will be shaping 2026? We're very interested in this. It points to a major shift in how humans interact with systems, data, and machines. Automation is moving beyond simple task execution, right? And into the world of automation. As a result, intelligent software agents are beginning to manage workflows end to end, from decision making to execution, all the way up and down the stack. Welcome, Brittany, to the live show. good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining in. Love to see you here. The scalability across industries such as software development, logistics, and customer support are key areas of focus. We know that that means that there will be lots of folks joining in and making it part of their day to day. And that could potentially be concerning. We know that we want to basically showcase that future technology that's coming up and the future of technology that will be here tomorrow is actually a safe technology, that the predictions also highlight that there are breakthroughs in energy, connectivity, and immersive computing. For example, we have solid state batteries, advanced networks, and affordable spatial computing devices are reshaping transportation, manufacturing, and digital collaboration. As emerging tech 2026 matures, the focus is no longer experimentation, but real world deployment. Isn't that right, Reese? Thanks for joining, Reese. Good to see you on the show. Signaling a year where innovation directly alters how people work, commute, and live. That's exactly right. So we have top 10 trends, agentic AI, and autonomous systems will bring forward a new technology. Hello, Bebel85. Good to have you here. And of course, solid state batteries are interesting. We have neuromorphic and brain inspired computing, where neuromorphic chips process data using architectures modeled after human neurons. What's up, Shafa? Good to see you in the chat. These chips dramatically reduce power consumption while enabling real-time learning on the edge. So in 2026, they'll support robotics, medical monitoring, and smart sensors without constant cloud connectivity. What's up, Penny? Good to have you here. Lots of folks joining. Thank you for joining on TikTok. We love TikTok Shop. Really interesting. Good to have you back. Welcome back to the live viewers who were here before and are still scrolling through the feed today. It's a great day to be alive. And that's exactly why we're here talking about tech trends shaping 2026 on our latest version of the live show. And we love to see that here being a tech trend on the live show that showcases exactly what is going on with tech trends shaping 2026. And as a result, we see even more quantum computing stabilization, error correction. Advances in error correction make mid-scale quantum computers more reliable and practical. Instead of experimental lab use, these systems begin solving specialized optimization and cryptography. What's up, Aya? Good to have you here. Gonna wave at everyone coming into the chat. In 2026, quantum computing transitions from theory into controlled enterprise adoption. Very interesting tech times. We also see spatial computing and affordable AR glasses are here. You have seen those across all major platforms, including Ray-Bans and others. So we see a very interesting phenomenon happening where you could be wearing goggles or glasses or some sort of augmented reality that will improve productivity in manufacturing, logistics, and training. That's exactly right. We're seeing training drive up. And of course, AI-driven cybersecurity and self-healing networks will continue to be a huge part of what is trending in 2026. It becomes essential as attack surfaces expand alongside automation. And then eighth, we see synthetic biology in industrial manufacturing. Engineered microorganisms produce pharmaceuticals, enzymes, and materials at scale. And this approach lowers production costs while reducing environmental impact. In 2026, synthetic biology reshapes manufacturing efficiency across healthcare and industrial sensors. Next, we see that edge AI expansion across consumer devices is here. The edge AI allows devices to process data locally instead of relying on the cloud. This improves privacy, reduces latency, and smart home devices increasingly adopt this model in 2026. Woohoo! And finally, as we come to our 10th technology trend, human-machine collaboration in the workspace. Automation shifts from replacement to augmentation of human roles, AI systems handle repetitive tasks while humans focus on strategy and creativity. Technology trends in 2026 emphasize collaboration rather than displacement. And that rounds up our tech trends in 2026. We're very excited for what's happening in 2026. Is going to be a big year in 2026. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. That's right. We're back for our final anchor segment of Beyond the Bag. Thank you for the 6, 7, 8 people now that have been streaming the entire show. Wow, we have a lot of viewers who are watching all the way to the last minute. Thank you for putting this on in the background, just listening to the latest news on the David Daily. This wraps up 31 episodes. Strong, we're going strong, and we've always talked about our Beyond the Bag segment. So thank you for listening and watching. On today's Beyond the Bag segment, in addition to funding faith in future tech, we also talk about full-time travel and fun, the best part of the show. If you're wondering, it is the best part of the show. And the reason why is because I reach into my bag. Today, I have a bag that I travel with me everywhere I go. It's always within grabbing distance of myself. And I grab something from the bag, the grab bag. And guess what? In the grab bag episode today, I have some Champion deodorant. That's right, Champion deodorant. Screenshot this right now if you're watching it. Champion deodorant. Here, I'll give you the screenshot. Champion. I am a champion, my friends. We'll keep on fighting till the end. Champion. You are a champion. So that's what we take with us. Deodorant, folks. You always need some deodorant. If you haven't put your deodorant on today, go get yourself some deodorant. Come on, people. Don't be smelly out in the streets. But here we are on the future of technology, future faith, fantastic fun, future tech. We love this show. It is good to see you. Thank you so much. We will see you at the end of the David Daily Show, going live on all major platforms. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. We care about you. Have a wonderful, blessed 2025. Welcome. We will see you in 2026 tomorrow, ringing the bell with a brand new year.